Hey there everyone, welcome back to another video. Kovac here, and for this one I will be going over what I believe to be the top 3 worst pets for each family type. Now in my last one of these sort of videos I did the best pet for each family type. I was requested to do this, so this ought to get interesting and pretty funny, so I took what I believe, so keep in mind this is all opinionated, to be probably the 3 worst pets for each family type. So 30 in total. Essentially, it will be from the 3rd worst being the top, going all the way down to the worst. So without further ado, let's hop straight into it, starting with humanoid. So 3rd worst humanoid I would believe is probably the snowballed runt. Now, this pet was released back in, I want to say sometime in Legion, but it's pretty hard to get, has a low drop chance, it's in the Trial of Crusader, so you have to go through that hassle. It can be kind of expensive as well, so no surprise. It's a pretty crappy pet. It has a pretty cool model though. I believe it's the only pet with a kobold model, so that's pretty cool. It does have an SS breed, kind of similar to the Fiendish Imp, except it has less attack power, so it doesn't really hit all that hard, even though it is pretty fast. Although it does have abilities that it can take advantage of going first, such as kick. It's just not a very good pet. I mean, sometimes you'll see it on sort of meme teams and stuff, but it's not the worst, but not really that good either. It's definitely a tier 3 pet for a reason. So yeah, starting us off, we're starting pretty good with the snowballed runt. So that's probably the 3rd. 2nd worst humanoid I would probably say without a doubt is probably Tyler Grondin. Now this should be a no-brainer for pretty much everybody. I mean, Tyler Grondin is just a pretty crappy pet. You do get him from the frickin' Brawlers Guild. I don't know if you can still acquire him, as this was back in, I think, Legion as well. But, I mean, you could always check and see inside of the BFA Brawlers Guild. Wouldn't hurt to look, but, yeah, you simply just get up to there and pay 500 gold directly to get him. However, he's not very good. He's very slow. However, he does hit pretty hard, has decent health, but I mean, that crappy speed, that's a bit of a kick in the nuts right there, man. Now, he does have some pretty interesting synergies, such as, well, he does have bandage, which I believe is only unique to him as far as a pet that you can acquire with bandage, or bandage I should say. I guess you could go with Body Slam and Stone Skin to reduce some of that damage, but then again, most of the time you probably are going to go with Crush, but just not a very good pet. Pretty much any Undead's just going to flat out obliterate him. And Undeads are known for being slow. Tyler Grondin is actually slower than a lot of Undeads, so that should definitely tell you something. So Tyler Grondin, it's probably the 2nd worst humanoid we have. Now, what I believe the absolute worst humanoid we have is none other than the Harpy Youngling. And this should also be a no-brainer. It's just a really bad pet. I mean, if it's so bad that I didn't even take the time to level it up, that should tell you something. Harpy Youngling is probably the equivalent of a turd in the wind, pretty much. And even then, a turd in the wind would have more uses than a Harpy Youngling. It's just got 2 weird breeds. None of them are fast at all to really take advantage of quills. Slicing Wind sucks. Flyby sucks. Counter Strike kind of sucks too. Because you have to get hit first for to deal the extra damage. Squawk isn't that good. And Liftoff is probably the best ability that it has. But then again, like I said, it's not very fast, so probably something you would use to wipe your bum with, but it's just a really bad pet. Stay as far away from this thing as you can. Only get it just to add it to your collection. I definitely would not use this in PvP pet battles. It's just god awful. So let's move on to Dragonkin. Starting off Dragonkins, we do have the Untamed Hatchling. Now, this isn't a very terrible pet. However, it's not very good, but it's definitely better than these two, that's for sure. Untamed Hatchling, I want to say, has been around ever since pretty much beginning of pet battles, so has been around for quite a while. However, not very many people use it, and the main ones who do are newer pet battlers. It doesn't really have that great abilities to suit its stats. Probably will go with Claw, Spike Skin, and Healing Flame. Don't really recommend Instability unless, of course, you have something to buff up your hit chance. Overall, not a very good pet, but not the worst Dragonkin we have, that's for sure. Second worst is probably the Swordless Hatchling. Now, this was a pretty hard decision between these two, but ultimately I decided Swordless is probably the second worst, simply because it probably has more uses. Toxic Bite is a pretty great ability, I would say. Feign Death is pretty great. It's got pretty great abilities, just its breed is so wacky, and it doesn't really have a spammable ability unless, of course, you do go with Rush, which again isn't bad because you could go with Rush into like a burrow or something, and Feign Death if you have to. Swordless Hatchling, when I saw this pet, I thought it looked pretty cool, but the abilities just don't really add up for it, so probably second worst right there. Now, the absolute god-awful worst shite in a can Dragonkin we have has got to be Bonebiter. I mean, come on. Why take this awesome looking model of a pet and just make this pet just absolutely crap? I mean, come on. Again, it does have Toxic Skin, Face Bite. It's kind of dumb. Devour sucks. Hiss is actually pretty great. And these two, either are pretty great too. Its breed is very weird, and it's just not a very good pet. It's dirt cheap on the auction house, no surprise there because it sucks. And I want to say that the drop chance on it in Mechagon is probably pretty high as well. So yeah, Bonebiter, not very good, really garbage pet. Stay as far away as you can. Alright, moving on to flyers, we have the... Ooh, hopefully I don't pronounce this wrong. The Petrodax Hatchling. I know I pronounce that sometimes wrong, but man, this pet really sucks. However, it's a pretty cool pet, I'll have to say. It has a pretty cool model. However, its abilities aren't very good. If it had Alpha Strike, it probably would be pretty decent, but I mean, come on, that low health, it's lower than 1200. I want to say it actually has less health than the Demidos, which is kind of hilarious. It has high attack power, high speed, but you know, it's just so bad. I mean, its two abilities in the first slot suck absolute butt. Ancient Blessing, way better than Apocalypse. Apocalypse is probably the worst ability in the game. Stay far away from that. And Liftoff and Feign Death are actually pretty great. So this pet could have had potential. I don't know what Blizzard were thinking giving it these two crappy abilities. Shame on them. But yeah, probably not the worst, but it's still pretty damn bad. Next up is probably going to have to be the Twilight Wasp. However, I want to say there might be a couple other wasps similar to the Twilight Wasp, but I just use this in its place. It's just not very good. I mean, it's got 4 different breeds. It really doesn't matter what breed you have. It's not very good. You don't really have a reliable way to put up your poison to use Puncture Wound to the best of your abilities, unless of course you just have to hope for that 20% chance from Barbed Stinger. I guess you could use Focus to help you out there, but then again, it's just not a very good pet. Not the worst, unlike the next pet up, but it's pretty up there. Now, what I believe would probably be the worst flying type is probably a Wild Griffin Hatchling. Similar to the Hatchling up here, it's got Slicing Wind, which sucks. I guess you could go with Peck. I wouldn't really recommend Squawk. And Flocker left off. I guess it would be situational. This pet has a crap ton of breeds, so you may be camping for a while to get one that you want. I just picked up the first one that I came across because I realized right away that it sucks. So yeah, I don't really recommend using this pet. I don't think I've ever gone against this pet actually, and I don't blame him because it's pretty garbage. Now, moving on to Undeads. Undeads was actually a little bit difficult. However, finding the worst pet was not very difficult. It was mainly finding the third and second. So, starting up this list right here, we have the Wicker Pup coming up at number 3 worst. Wicker Pup has a really cool model. I mean, if only it was just like a Restored Revenant, it probably would have some potential. However, that low attack power just really kills it. I mean, it just hits for crap with either of these abilities. It does have Consume Corpse, which is pretty great. Chaos Nova is pretty interesting ability too. And Bark Skin, I don't know why you would want to take that. So Ghostly Bite is probably the way to go. But even then, that doesn't hit very hard. But again, Wicker Pup, pretty cool pet. It's got great speed and all, and health, like most Undeads would. But this one actually just has really low attack power, which is pretty much what killed this pet off. Not the worst pet, but it's not very good either. Next up we have Scraps. Now let me tell you a little story about Scraps. So, once upon a time in Legion, this pet happened to come out. Saw it on the auction house. I want to say that it was selling for like 30k, something like that. I thought it was really cool. You know, it was new. I bought it, leveled it up, and I realized, oh, I'm an idiot. I would just wasted 30k gold for nothing on this crappy, shiny pet. Yeah, Scraps is just a pretty crappy pet. I mean, very low health, decent speed, not very high attack power. It's got a weird moveset. I guess Super Bark could be useful for capturing other pets and stuff in the wild. Other than that, it's just really bad. Just really bad. I really don't recommend using this pet in PvP, honestly, and definitely don't go spending the amount of gold that I did on it. However, it's probably really dirt cheap nowadays, probably like 1,000 gold. No surprise there. So yeah, Scraps. Now, the absolute god-awful undead that we unfortunately have in pet battles, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than the Risen Saber Kitten. That's right, this pet, I wouldn't even wipe my bum with it if I had no more toilet paper. This thing just sucks so much. I mean, it's a balanced breed, for God's sake. Has crap health. The freaking speed and attack power. Since it's a balanced breed, it's losing out on stat points actually, so it's even worse than what we really think. It's just a really crappy pet. I just unfortunately happen to have 3 of them. I probably looted them from the NPC some time ago, but I never ever took the time to level it up because it just sucks so bad. It's not very fast to take advantage of Pounce, Consume. Not a very good ability, and the rest of its abilities just really suck. The only thing it really has going for it is Pounce, and then again, it's not very fast, so just God, stay away from this pet. It's just god awful. What a waste of time there, Blizzard. Please just get rid of that pet. Moving on to critters. Now, this wasn't very difficult to find. Both the Mulgore, Hatchling, and Egbert are pretty bad. It was really hard to decide which was going to be third and which was going to be second. I decided to put a Mulgore at third simply because it has a better breed. So, but they do both have the same exact abilities, just different breeds. Mulgore Hatchling, you do get it from Ice Crown, kind of similar to the Snowbolt Runt. It's kind of a hassle to get, and it can go for somewhat of a pretty penny on the auction house. Egbert is simply from Children's Week. Also, he can sell for a decent amount on the auction house. However, he is just god awful. I mean, come on. Another balanced breed. And Mulgore Hatchling would definitely win in a 1v1, I would say. So, not very good pets. Now, I do have this snail here, not saying that snails are the absolute worst critter type pet. I actually like snails. Snails can actually be pretty useful. But, what I would like to point out is that SS breed right there. I unfortunately don't have one to really showcase it, but SS breed snail, probably the worst simply because the stats are wasted into the speed. Snails are not known for being fast at all, so you're pretty much wasting your time getting an SS breed. I don't know why anybody ever would, but I mean, snails are known for having very high health and decent attack power. That SS breed Rapana is just not doing it at all, so not saying this breed is the worst right here. I just had this snail just for show and tell, but that SS breed right there is definitely really bad right there. Overall, snails actually pretty great, I would say. I know some people would say they're probably bad, but I disagree. They can be quite useful, actually. Moving on to magic types. Now, this wasn't difficult at all. I mean, come on, these three pets, man. So, starting out with BLZ. He's just, that speed right there absolutely kills him over. Why the hell would you give him that much speed and give him not only a swap out, mind you, on a short round cooldown, but a damn clobber? Are you joking, Blizzard? What were you thinking? I mean, his Gilded Fist ability, which I want to say is unique only to him. There could be another one that I'm not aware of. Hits pretty decently hard compared to Crush, but just having Face Punch and Clobber on a really slow ass pet is just not worth it at all. I don't think he's the worst magic type, but damn is he up there. Like, come on. And then they had the audacity to give him Nimbus. I mean, at least there was something else besides Clobber, am I right? So yeah, BLZ. Next up is Extinguished Eye. This thing is just a floating turd ball, just floating around pretty much. I mean, it's just really bad. Just really bad pet. It has Dark Rebirth, which I'll admit only a handful of pets have, but generally, the very few pets that have this ability suck absolute butthole, and Extinguished Eye just unfortunately falls under that ladder. It's just not very good. The only way it could really be somewhat effective is maybe on a Mana Surge team, but even then, this is just really crap. However, probably the worst magic type pet, and no, I'm not talking about the Elec plushie, because that thing for damn sure has more uses than all three of these pets combined, is Sapphire Cub. I mean, it wouldn't take a crackhead to figure it out. I mean, yes, it has very, very high speed, but I mean, look at that health. That's way lower than the Servant of Demidos. That's way lower than Shrieker. It's just really, really bad. I mean, yes, you could take advantage of either Lash or Pounce, but other than that, this pet is really lackluster. I would probably stay far away from it as far as you can. It's dirt cheap on the auction house, and it's just not very good. Not at all. Moving on to elementals. Now, this may make a particular individual cry, so buddy, tell me your mailing address and I'll send you some tissues. But I kind of decided to go with Cinder Kitten on this one. Not saying it's the worst elemental we have, but it's not very good either. Yes, granted, it is really cool looking. It has some interesting abilities. It's just that its balance breed kind of kills it over. If maybe it was like an SS breed or something like that, actually probably would have potential. With Ren, so you wouldn't really have to take Leap. You probably could take Immolate. Then either of these two wouldn't really matter, I guess. But yeah, Cinder Kitten, not the worst, but definitely not the best there is. Alright, moving on to Harpy, which to some people might be a little bit of a shocker. However, Harpy is pretty much a big letdown, actually. I was pretty excited to get him at the 1,000 unique pet mark. However, I was greatly disappointed, mainly because he's got both Arcane Blast, which is his only spammable ability that does damage, on the same tier as Arcane Storm, which makes absolutely no sense at all. If they were on separate tiers, he might be a little bit better, but then again, he's still pretty crap. They gave him a dodge, being really slow, which, God, I don't know why they did that either. And then the Wild Magic and Amplified Magic, both really good abilities, I would say. But what was going on here, Blizzard? What crackhead did you put in charge of putting this pet together? Because they need to be fired and rehired just to get fired again. So, man, I don't know what you guys were thinking, but Heartbeat, not very good. But not as bad as Surger. My God. Let me tell you about Surger. Oh, man. So, I don't even have the SS breed, but just imagine having that SS breed. Oh man, look at that fast speed. Oh man, he's got Surge on a fast pet. Oh, how garbage is that? That is just so horrible. Like, looking at that just makes me want to shrivel up and cry myself to sleep. I mean, thank God I don't have the SS breed, because that's just such a waste. Why would they give a super fast pet very little health, very little attack power with damn Surge? Surge is probably one of the better abilities as a priority ability, and they just slap it on a pet that doesn't really need it, really. I mean, they literally could have gone with anything else, but they were thinking, what's the shittiest ability we could give something that is so fast, very little attack power and health? Oh, that's right. Let's use its name, Surger. Surge! Man, slap yourselves in the face for that one. That was so stupid. Oh, I don't know who decided to go with that. Other than that, I would say its best ability it has is Volcano, but really, Surger, come on. Blizzard, what were you thinking? Come on now. You could do better than that. Moving on to beast types. Now, this should be a no-brainer. Baby Ape. Everyone should really know that it's not a very good pet. However, it is a really cute model of a little baby ape. So, a lot of people do like hunting out these things. Power type. Yes, it does hit pretty damn hard with Smash. And you can even pair it up with Roar to get even more damage if you like. But Banana Barrage, not very good, pretty much because of that 50%. And even if you do buff it up to 100%, there is something wrong with Barrage abilities where the other ones can still miss, even if it is 100% hit chance or more. So the Baby Ape, pretty bad pet, I would have to say. Not the worst, but still pretty bad. Moving on to the Mining Monkey. He's got similar things, such as the Baby Ape. However, he is pretty much worse because he doesn't hit as hard. His abilities are kind of weird. I mean, he's got Banana Barrage, all that jazz, Barrel Toss, like usual monkeys do. But Demolish, I hate that ability, unless of course I'm using some sort of meme team. Jab is okay. Going Bonkers and Quake is just so weird. Such a weird achievement pet. They definitely could have done better as far as abilities go. Mining Monkey, not the absolute worst, but damn is he up there too. Holy crap. Moving on to the Plains Monitor. Now, there are probably a bunch of other lizards, just like the Plains Monitor, that are just as bad. But I figured I'd just pick one of them and just use that. I mean, it's just an absolute no-brainer. This pet is god-awful. Look at it. It's breeds. I mean, why the hell would you have an SS breed that fast and take quick attack? It's just as bad as putting Surge on Surger. I mean, come on. Oh, what were they thinking? Oh, man. I dare say that it's a... No, I'll save it for the end, for the very last pet. I was about to say a big insult for this damn thing, but it's definitely not as bad as the last pet that I'm going to be talking about. But, man, is this thing bad. Holy crap. Quick attack on a fast pet. Triple snap sucks. Screech not that good. Comeback kind of sucks, and I guess the best ability it does have is Ravage. It's just a really, really shiny pet. And just stay as far away from that as you can. Moving on to Clod X. Now, I again kind of like the Plains Monitor. I kind of chose a tree frog. However, there are quite a bit of frogs who don't have that very good of a breed. It's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, it does have decent speed for a frog. I mean, it does have a lot of health too. But it's not going to really be able to outspeed everything. But like I said, not the worst thing in the world. Just a pretty good pick to start out the list off for the Clod X anyway. Next up is Horny Toad. Now, for some reason, they decided to use a frog icon for what looks like a lizard. So, it's kind of weird. Similar to the tree frog, its breeds are just... Actually, they might even have the same breeds. Nope, tree frog only has one. Okay. Well, again, it's just not a very good pet. I don't think I've ever seen this pet go against me before. If I have, it probably only happened one time, but just not a very good pet. Moving on to the absolute worst, without a doubt, is the Violet Abyssal Eel. Don't let that high health fool you. That attack power and speed would just make a blind person cry. I mean, come on. Look at that. Look at that tail slap. Look at that low end. That would make me want to slap myself, and I don't even have a tail. I mean, swallow you whole. Oh god, look at that damage. That's horrible. Granted, it does have Bubble, which is a very great ability, but why? Why? It's so slow. So very slow. Hits like a wet noodle. Tanky, yes, but just not very good at all. And I want to say it's a pretty inexpensive pet too, so no surprise there. Just a really garbage pet. Now, last but not least, we have Mechanicals. Starting out the list is the Lifelike Toad. Lifelike Toad is actually a pretty cool pet. However, unfortunately, it was cursed to have a balanced breed instead of an SS, which would have made it a lot better. So one of the very few mechanicals that actually can counter elementals in one way or another. But that balanced breed just really shuts it down. Yes, you can take Tongue Lash if you want to, but it's not the fastest in the world, so you're not going to be outspeeding everything. Healing Wave is great. I guess either Frog Kiss or Repair. Overall, not the worst mechanical in the world, but definitely not the best. Next up, we have the Ultra Tonk. No surprise here. Yes, it does have high health. I was about to say attack power. But man, that attack power and speed, absolute crap, along with its moveset. You either have the choice between Demolish, which I don't really like, or Lock On, which takes 2 turns to use. Launch Rocket, which again takes 2 turns to use, or the Boombot, which is actually a pretty cool ability. It's kind of similar to I don't want to say Entangling Roots, something that lasts longer than that. Kind of like a Geyser, except it doesn't stun you, it just does damage after it goes off. So, pretty cool ability actually. And then Shock and Awe, which is a chance to stun. Ion Cannon, which is just a heavy-hitting nuke. So overall, he doesn't really have anything to spam, unless of course you're running some sort of meme team with Demolish. But other than that, just a really crappy pet. A pretty big letdown for a pretty cool let's say letdown again. Pretty cool model for a pet, but just really sucks. Now, probably, without a doubt, this is the worst mechanical type we have. And quite frankly, might even be the worst pet that we have currently. Being none other than the Pocket Cannon, yes. When this thing first came out, it looked pretty cool. I mean, look at it. It's a cannon. It's on wheels. It kind of reminds me of the cannon cart from Clash Royale, but damn, is it nothing like the cannon cart. It's just so crappy. Yes, it's got high health, decent attack power, low speed. which is kind of expected, but man, basically all 4 of these abilities take 1 turn to load and then another to shoot. So essentially you're wasting 2 turns or more if you decide to load up your other shot before taking the first one. So for example, loading up a cannon shot and then going for a frost shot. That's just turns that your opponent has to basically wail on you, while you can't do anything about it. You just have to load and pray that maybe you get a crit for all that wasted time that you spent loading, when you could just have a better damn mechanical pet in its spot. This pet would be a lot better if maybe there was no damn 1 turn to load, maybe halving the damage of all these abilities. Then it would have damage diversity that it could spam. But no, Blizzard, you just have to take an absolute dump on this pet. And this pet, my god, is the very definition of a shitload of fuck. Yes, I said that. It's just that bad. Damn, is it that bad? Its only upfront damaging ability is Explode, which is absolutely terrible. Oh my god. Not only that, but let me tell you a story about a poor boy named Linica going against my beautiful Phosphor Rat with darkness up. He shoots a shot, misses, decides to go for an Explode, and also misses. So if that doesn't tell you that the pocket cannon is pretty crap, then damn, something is wrong with you, man. It's pretty much a waste of a time to get. I want to say that you have to do the Dead Mines dungeon 3 times. So that's 3 weeks or something like that. Maybe even more, maybe a 4th. But it's definitely not worth getting at all. But you cannot get it unless, of course, you do get it from the Dead Mines dungeon, which is a dungeon I haven't done in quite a while. But that's besides the point. This pet, just absolute crap. Stay as far away from it as you can. It's pretty much tier 4, and there's no such thing as a tier 4. It's just that damn awful. Holy crap. So that will wrap up all of the list. Again, like I said, this is all opinionated, so feel free to let me know down below if there's something you agree with, something you would disagree with, or if there's something that you feel like was missed that should have been on either of these lists. So yeah, with that being said, this is Kovac. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and feel free to give me more ideas for videos like this. But with that being said, this is Kovac, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.